Hello, today is Friday, 4th of February 2022, and I was about to do like a series on Mars through the houses, and I thought in the light that we are going to be, well, it's Friday for one thing, day of Venus, and secondly, we're also coming very fast approaching Valentine's Day. Let's do Venus through the houses, and what better day to start this than today? So I'm just going to give you the indications for Venus, and then we go on to discuss how it is when it is in your first house. And obviously this is all using a sidereal zodiac, and the condition of Venus will be like, I'm just pretending it's got like no conjunctions, no aspects, just the pure Venus through the first house. And obviously this Venus is going to be completely different depending on whether or not it's in Scorpio or Sagittarius or Gemini, you know, so they're all different. And also the nakshatras make a difference too, because they will definitely refine that. And obviously it's not just nakshatras are 13 degrees 20 of a sign. They have 4 padas as well, so each pada is different again. So there's a lot to think about, but anyway, let's start. So I thought I'd just go through the indications for Venus. So Venus is all about balance. If somebody was to say to me, what would you just say would be, you know, like if you were to give 3 things to explain what Venus is, I would say Venus is about balance, it's about self-love, and it's about good choices. This will be how I would describe it. I wouldn't describe it like what people may think, you know, this that's why people who have got good relationships, and they, even if they were to come out of one relationship, they soon attract another, is because they just got that understanding that they can be generous, you know, and they can see the big picture. So anyway, let's start. So keywords: love, passion, relationship, union, choices, values, obviously the arts, self-love, grace, partnerships, beauty, non-judgmental, generosity in all things, diplomacy, fairness, interaction, family, artistics, and kind of, I would just say things to do with, you know, aesthetics really as well. Fashion, cosmetics, perfume, flowers, paintings, good food, travel, vehicles of any kind. So it could be anything from a scooter, bike to car, or even an airplane. It's pleasant, it's about luxury, it's about charm, sensuality, unconditional love, expressive, social grace and awareness, and it goes on. So, and it's also, I think I would also just add, there is like appreciations of all things and seeing beauty in everything. This is when Venus is quite balanced. And as we know that in the natural zodiac, starting from Aries, it rules the 2nd and the 7th house. So Taurus, which is a fixed sign, and this sign is also earthy. So you know that Venus is obviously a feminine planet. It ruling the 2nd sign of the zodiac. It rules the face and also the neck. So it's about choices, turning right and left to actually see when is a good time to cross the road, if you like. And they know what's good for them, rather than they wouldn't make a choice. A good Venus would not go for somebody who looks good. They would just kind of think, because it rules the natural 2nd house of the zodiac, it's about family. What is this relationship a good investment for me and for my children? You know, for my values, does it add to my values? They wouldn't be straying, even if I don't know, some magical handsome guy or Adonis of a guy, or some Aphrodite will come through. This is really all about that kind of having that value. And and obviously, because it rules the second natural house of the zodiac, it is a feminine planet. When you are gracious towards feminine things, which is like environment, females, women, female energy, women, mothers, and everything else, it naturally helps kind of that respect. It could even be from one woman to other. It doesn't have to be from a man to a man to a woman, and actually from a man to a man. Generosity, being kind, money flows in. So I just want to add here as well that Venus is friendly with Saturn. Venus rules the second house of the zodiac, which is money, resources, and also the money, the savings that you have, money that you have in the bank account. And it's friendly with Saturn, and Saturn rules the 11th house of the zodiac. And so that again is another house of gains, financial gains. So these two planets work together really well, because in a relationship you want to be, obviously, see the beauty in the person, also be there for them during the times that they are sick, they're unwell, growing old together, being a pillar for each other, looking after, having each other's back. And this is the reason why often when people can't find love, it's because they can't love themselves. And what it creates this issue with back problems, because obviously Saturn rules your structure, also there's the sun, but it's like skeletal system. So lack of support. And this is when you can really help yourself by just starting with self-love, doing rituals to really get the Venus in your chart strong. And I always say this, planets that are really fast moving, like Venus, Mercury, Moon, and the Sun, they're really easy to get results quickly out of them. And just be persistent, but always thank God and universe for everything as well. So, and also Saturn is again brings that stability to Venus, and it shows that with time things get better as well in the relationship. So normally when you go into a relationship, the first couple of years are quite easy, and then you go through this more challenging times, because remember, when you get married, the first year is like woohoo. The second year is pretty good, you're helping each other to pay the bills and everything. The third year, so again, it becomes an upachaya, so it's a bit challenging. You have to put more effort into the relationship. And again, the fourth year can bring you more comforts, because you got the accumulation of the wealth. You might just change home to a bigger home, or you might actually buy a home together. And you might have kids after that, sixth house, there could be that you get yourself into debt, all that kind of stuff, basically. And then from the seventh house, you start traveling, all that kind of stuff. But so relationships have also go through all these stages as well. And anyway, let's go back. So second house is all about family. It's your speech. So it's always good to try and always leave the person with a kind word, and because I think people never forget your kindness and generosity, whether it's in words or gestures, something like that. It's always magical, and it's also rules senses with this, something, all those. And I really love it, because my own daughter, she's really good at this. She's very good at explaining, like when she smells something, she can really use all these words to articulate a particular sort of smell or taste or something. It's lovely, very Venusian, that is. It's also to do with what is good for me. And it also rules the seventh house of the zodiac, which is about attraction to the other, and that whole romantic thing, romance and being together, and gets your heart chakra because it rules the heart chakra, so it gets you excited, pumping the blood around your body, which is obviously Mars, gets the passion going, and stimulation, interaction, going out, being more sociable, social events, in, you know, as I said, interaction again. And also it rules kind of dealing with other people, being generous and diplomatic and creating harmony with others, and you know, that kind of stuff. And also it's debilitated in the 6th natural house of the zodiac, Virgo, when it's all, everything is on the microscope. You know, you did this and you didn't do that, and last Sunday, you know, you dropped a pin on the floor or something like that. You know, it's just like really being very critical, and just knocking somebody down for something that, you know, does it, okay, some things, you know, you got to say, but other things, you know, just doesn't have to be a big deal really, so you can overlook certain stuff. And just always remember, when you're going to say something, just always remember the good things and balance things out really. And it's exalted in the 12th natural house of the zodiac, which is the house of sex and bed pleasures and good sleep, having that, when you put your head down, you're just like rested, you know, it's beautiful. Also, this is the house of devotions, and devotion, God, spirituality, and the bigger picture. So that's another word that I would use for it as well, is devotion. Obviously, Venus will be very different according to, you know, as I said, the situation with it. But if it's normally in front of the sun in your chart, so it will be, I don't mean in the same sign, I mean in front. It will be much more ta-da, I'm here kind of Venus, whereas Venus, if it's behind the sun, it's more introverted, not so extroverted. So anyway, this is the bit about Venus. I'm now going to do through the houses. Thank you for watching. As I'm doing this Venus through the houses, I'm approaching Valentine's Day. It doesn't need to necessarily be because of that. I actually wanted to just tell you, I had this is Michael Mastro's and his wife Robin's book, you know, Making Room for Mr. Right. It could be for Mrs. Right too. And I bought this book because Michael, I mean, he's a fantastic Vastu expert, and he's an architect anyway, so it's just wonderful putting the two together. And he actually did Vastu for my property, and kind of remedied some of the issues, because actually this property has got so many issues you will not believe. But since then, it's been really brought a lot of happiness into my home. So, and this has got a wonderful, obviously it tells you about, more than anything, saying to you that if you want somebody, love to come into your life, you have to make room for it. So if your house or property or your flat or your room is full of clutter, you kind of like, the energy is a mess in your environment. So fix your environment, get rid of anything that no longer serves you, and start making it beautiful. And it gives you lots of different things. It's also got like a full moon ritual thing that you can do. It's also invites you to do intentions and write down exactly the sort of person that you want in terms of like physically, what do you want them to look like, financially, emotionally, spiritually, which is fantastic, really amazing. So it kind of makes you really think about what you want, because I think often people want love, but they haven't really, never really thought about how, you know, what sort of love they want. And I think right now is a really good time to start thinking about what type of love you want, because we have just been through, well, we're still going through a really difficult patch in the world, and what you thought you liked 2 years ago might be very different to what you look for now. So this would be a perfect time now to start thinking about what you would like. So anyway, it has lots of different tips. It's got beautiful full moon rituals that you can do. So amazing. And I just wanted to show you, because I love yantras. It's also got like a yantra for Venus there. which, you know, I don't know if you can actually take a picture of that, and I'm sure Michael wouldn't mind, and just print a few things, few of those, and then start colouring the yantra in whatever colour you like. So, you know, these kind of things reiterate your message of love to the universe, that's what you're looking for. And be open, you know, like do Venusian things, start treating yourself really well, and the universe will start treating you well. Thank you for watching. Venus in the fifth house. Fifth house is a trinal house, so it's very strong. And, you know, if any planet, whether it's good planet for your ascendant or bad planet in your for your ascendant, nonetheless, so if they are in any of the angles or trines, they will elevate you at some point. I mean, some of it will be with slight difficulty, but however, it does give quite a lot of strength to the planet. And through, as I said, through the difficulties, you might actually find amazing success. You just got to go with it, you know, you just got to, that's one of the things we have to do with astrology, really explore it so we can use it properly and effectively. At the end of the day, you know, today we're talking about fifth house. Fifth house, the most important thing about the fifth house is intelligence and creativity. So let's have a look at, you know, what the effects of the fifth house are, and blend them in with Venus. Venus obviously is a benefic planet, and if you're sitting in a trinal house, then it's great. Now for in the natural zodiac, fifth house is Leo, so it's kind of got connotations of the sun. Sun rules Leo, and obviously we can say straight away that there are some issues there with Venus and Sun. That is the underlying issues. However, excuse me for that. However, both planets are planets of creativity. They're both artistic. So there is that kind of confluence between the two. And so whereas fourth house was your mother's family education, you know, like family grace and family ways, if you like. This is now your academic education. So this is when you're actually going into an institution in order to get educated. So you become part of the system in that sense, for better, for worse, really. So, and it's obviously to do with children, students, and children and creativity. And the children are what we create. It's also also rules the heart chakra. So this is whereas fourth house is like emotional heart chakra, this is like your physical heart chakra. And you know more than anything that basically people who are Leo ascendants, anything when you have Leo as your Swamsha, Karakamsha, you know, all that Aruda Lagna, anything like that, your moon is in there, your ascendant is there, whatever, you want to be in love. You love all that romance and dating, fun, partying. It's another planet of enjoyment comes into the fifth house. So this will be somebody who is highly artistic, highly expressive, able to create magnificent things, like magnificent words, you know, write songs, play musical instruments, fantastic cooking. You know, it depends obviously what kind of things are going on. And we're talking about a trinal house, that's, you know, a Venus that's got no bad or good conjunction or aspects, just on its own. So yeah, this person will be playful, would love, you know, play games and just be a kid, you know, and enjoy life. It's all to do with media, cinema, to do with politics and politicians. Ancient wisdom and ancient texts are all part of this, like the classics and all of that. So in a sense, astrology texts, you know, like all the books, that texts that we use, they're part of that. It's also mantras too, and it's stock market investments and And investments also doesn't have to be necessarily that. It could be like investing in gold, silver, more tangible things, which I would be more into that. It's obviously self-expression, but it's like third houses from third house. So these people will be really self-expressive. It's your passions, you know, that kind of stuff. And obviously intelligence above all. So somebody who's got a really strong fifth house, like for example, if let's say that for Capricorn Ascending, Venus is in the fifth house. Wow, what a placement. Yoga Karaka planet. It's a planet that's also friendly with the Ascendant Lord in the fifth house and rules the 10th as well. I mean, that is just incredible, isn't it? That's just so fantastic. And so obviously these are the things that you want to bear in mind. They make fantastic teachers as well, because obviously Venus and Moon in Gemini Astrology, they are basically teachers. And so the fifth house is to do with students. So magnificent professors, teachers, lecturers, very good. Venus is obviously, wherever it is, we enjoy indications of that sign. So these people will be so romantic. They'll be just like, they want to be in a relationship. So if they're not in a relationship, they're immediately looking for the next relationship, particularly if it's a Mars sign, because Mars is fast moving it, or, you know, anything like that. So it is pretty amazing. It is also your Purva Punya house. So it's like good luck from previous life. So amazing. So these obviously, the better the condition of Venus will be, if it's in a friendly sign, own sign, exalted, the more they want to just like have parties, you know, that kind of stuff, invite people. Clearly, if it's got like, you know what politicians are like, they don't have parties just because they want to have parties. They want to make connections, what's good for me, that kind of stuff. So there could be a little bit of like cheekiness about that as well, in the sense that like what's good for me, could be a bit manipulative depending on the sign and the aspects, that kind of stuff. So great, as I said, great self-expression, great speakers as well, because obviously Venus gives that lovely you know, give people a sense of like they are part of the whole, you know, they can really move people. They are obviously in the music as well. If they're in the music industry, they will be very successful, in the sense that they will just have that amazing, the amazing kind of way of expressing themselves to their crowd. And it shows. It also shows your first child. So Venus in the first child, and if it's in good condition, you just got this most adorable child. Could be depending on the sign as well. Obviously, the sign. And, you know, female planet, it could just be your first child, could be a girl, and it'd be a gorgeous girl, you know, just like you just adore her. And so third houses from your fifth house is your eighth house, so it's the sibling to your child. And then you count again 3 houses from the eighth house, and that becomes your second child, etc., etc. And fifth houses from fifth house, which is ninth house, is your grandchildren. So, also fifth house is second houses from your fourth house, which is obviously like the family your mum has created, your family. 11th from seventh house is so from that will be like gains of your partners, your spouse, the higher education of your father, his wisdom. 8th house is from your 10th house, is your fifth house. So it just shows ups and downs in your career. So it's amazing, really, all these things that you can see. And so forth. So I'm just going to start going through all the kind of like ascendants now. For Aries Ascending, this will be obviously very nice, because Venus rules their second and the seventh house. So it rules like a money house and also an angle house going into trine. So it gives them a really good Raj Yoga and also Dhan Yoga. So through actually getting married, being in a relationship, they actually kicks in all the good luck from previous lives. And so this would be really nice. However, it is Venus in Leo, and Leo, Venus, Leo, they could go through some relationships, you know, obviously it depends on the ascendant and how strong the ascendant is and the moon, but nonetheless though, this will be somebody who is highly creative, and also the way they speak and everything is really sweet. They want to be in love to be in a relationship, you know. This and actually this obviously clearly Venus in, you know, for Aries Ascendant being in the 5th house shows that. But generally speaking, in the natural zodiac, Taurus Ascendant, Aries Ascendant, Libra Ascendant and Scorpio Ascendant, they marry for love. They for, you know, they're not really thinking about the whole what's good for me kind of thing. They are more guided by their heart, by chemistry with somebody. Whereas, like, you know, Leo Ascendant, Cancer Ascendant, they, you know, they have Saturn at their 7th house, so it's more to do with status and you know, traditions in the family. And you know, so just wanted to point that out, because they do generally, but this will be a marriage based on romance and love and you know, being very romantic. So it's really nice placement for Taurus Ascendant. Taurus Ascendant, Venus in the 5th house, will be in Venus in debility sign. So this could just naturally, because of the obviously although Venus obviously friendly with Mercury, but it just kind of shows that there will be some difficulties maybe having children. There may be some difficulties and disagreements with the children, generally speaking. There could be some education issues as well, because Venus is debilitated there. And generally speaking, they could also be the sort of people who micromanage their children. But nonetheless though, in terms of kind of design, things to do with work as well, because obviously Virgo is a natural 6th house of the zodiac. They could be nurses, you know, these kind of people, and they could be working with children as well, or they could be students that they look after, things like that. But on the whole, it's still a trine, and also rules 2nd house of money as well. So in that case, it does create really nice dhan yoga for them. For Gemini Ascendant, this will be Venus in Libra, and obviously friendly sign, own sign, friendly ascendant. So in that sense, it's really nice. And this creates a really lovely, you know, because Libra is where Venus is strong. It's going to be like very artistic children. They'll be like perhaps they're quite cultured in the sense that they can interact with other people. They can also, because it's the 7th natural house of the zodiac, they have got social grace anyway, because Venus being there as well is very gracious. You know, they could be also musically talented, really well educated, worldly people, because Venus also rules the 12th house, that kind of stuff. They could also, for education, they could move away, that kind of stuff. But really nice placement, that's very strong. For Cancer Ascendant, Venus will be the 4th lord in the 5th house, which is Scorpio. Now this obviously not a great placement for Venus in a sense, because it's obviously Scorpio. You know, Venus is not unfriendly with Mars, but it's just the connotations of a secretive house, really. But this I mean, I'm going to say something, you know, because it's secretive. So the child could, you know, it could just be that you hide your pregnancy, or, you know, there is some level of secret going on with the child, or secret investments, secret gambling, that kind of thing going on with the, you know, that kind of situation going on. Yeah, so that kind of stuff going on. And obviously, you know, it's a nice Raj Yoga, because 4th house rule in the 5th house, so it's just like, you know, nice in that terms. For Leo Ascendant, 5th house rule of 5th house will be Sagittarius, and Venus rules 3rd and 10th house for them. For Aries Ascending, this will be obviously very nice because Venus rules their 2nd and the 7th house. So it rules like a money house and also an angle house going into trine. So it gives them a really good Raj Yoga and also Dhan Yoga. So through actually getting married, being in a relationship, they actually kicks in all the good luck from previous lives. And so this will be really nice. However, it is Venus in Leo, and Venus, Leo, they could go through some relationships. Obviously it depends on the ascendant and how strong the ascendant is and the moon. But nonetheless, though, this will be somebody who is highly creative. And also the way they speak and everything is really sweet. They want to be in love to be in a relationship. And actually this obviously clearly Venus in for Aries Ascendant being in the 5th house shows that. But generally speaking, in the natural zodiac, Taurus Ascendant, Aries Ascendant, Libra Ascendant and Scorpio Ascendant, they marry for love. They're not really thinking about the whole what's good for me kind of thing. They are more guided by their heart, by chemistry with somebody. Whereas Leo Ascendant, Cancer Ascendant, they have Saturn at their 7th house, so it's more to do with status and traditions in the family. And so just wanted to point that out because they do generally, but this will be a marriage based on romance and love and being very romantic. So it's really nice placement for Taurus Ascendant. Taurus Ascendant, Venus in the 5th house will be in Venus in debility sign. So this could just naturally, because of the obviously although Venus obviously friendly with Mercury, but it just kind of shows that there will be some difficulties maybe having children. There may be some difficulties and disagreements with the children, generally speaking. There could be some education issues as well because Venus is debilitated there. And generally speaking, they could also be the sort of people who micromanage their children. But nonetheless, though, in terms of kind of design, things to do with work as well, because obviously Virgo is a natural 6th house of the zodiac. They could be nurses, these kind of people, and they could be working with children as well, or they could be students that they look after, things like that. But on the whole, it's still a trine and also rules 2nd house of money as well. So in that case, it does create really nice Dhan Yoga for them. For Gemini Ascendant, this will be Venus in Libra. And obviously friendly sign, own sign, friendly ascendant. So in that sense, it's really nice. And this creates a really lovely, because Libra is where Venus is strong. It's going to be like very artistic children. They'll be like, perhaps they're quite cultured in the sense that they can interact with other people. They can also, because it's the 7th natural house of the zodiac, they have got social grace anyway, because Venus being there as well is very gracious. They could be also musically talented, really well educated, worldly people, because Venus also rules the 12th house, that kind of stuff. They could also, for education, they could move away, that kind of stuff. But really nice placement, that's very strong. For Cancer Ascendant, Venus will be the 4th lord in the 5th house, which is Scorpio. Now this obviously not a great placement for Venus in a sense, because it's obviously Scorpio. Venus is not unfriendly with Mars, but it's just the connotations of a secretive house, really. But this I'm going to say something, because it's secretive. So the child could, it could just be that you hide your pregnancy, or there is some level of secret going on with the child, or secret investments, secret gambling, that kind of thing going on with the, that kind of situation going on. So that kind of stuff going on. And obviously, it's a nice Raj Yoga because 4th house ruler in the 5th house. So it's just like, nice in that terms. For Leo Ascendant, fifth house will be Sagittarius, and Venus rules 3rd and 10th house for them. This will not be, easy for Venus. Venus is not friendly with Jupiter. Nonetheless, though, it is somebody who loves learning, loves traveling, because Sagittarius is the natural 9th house of the zodiac, and it's a 3rd house ruler in there. So, go away for education, learning, skills, things like that. They'll be highly, because obviously Jupiter signs expand things. They love learning. They love writing and publishing as well, possibly because that's 9th house of the natural zodiac does that. So very nice, and they could have just this nice closeness also to anything that's ancient wisdom, learning high wisdom. They could religious texts, spiritual texts, things like that. That would be lovely. And then for Virgo Ascendant, Venus will be in Capricorn, and Venus will be in a friendly sign, and it's upward looking sign, so it's also like that they could be in education or career, because obviously it's a natural 10th house of the zodiac, Capricorn, all to do with career, work. And so this will be somebody who could possibly be, as I said, in education or a governmental department to do with education. And also this gets better with time as well. It's something that Saturn actually shrinks. Okay, I do apologize for that, as yet again another parcel being delivered. It's crazy, isn't it? So let's look at this. So Venus being in Capricorn, Venus is obviously friendly with Saturn. Saturn delays everything, creates a little bit of shyness in person. These people are not going to be like Venus in a friendly sign, or a Mars sign, Mercury sign, whatever. It's going to be very different to Venus in Capricorn. Venus in Capricorn, and Capricorn is probably the more difficult of the signs for Saturn, in the sense that it's just very conservative, and Saturn is stronger itself in Capricorn than it is in Aquarius. Although it's a more Trichonous sign, it's more liberal. In this one, it creates heavy shyness in love in the person, where they feel they're not deserving of love. So people who've got Saturn in Venus's signs, or all of those things, Venus in Saturn signs, I would really work on your Venus to just get it really strong, because they really are fantastic partners, because they are so very they're the people who really are loyal. They are very hardworking. They come from they got lots of honor, but they just this shyness, and they hold themselves back in love. So they could miss out on the most amazing relationships because they're just too shy to express themselves. But having said that, because it's the 5th house, they will be quite expressive, in a little bit more expressive, because it's 5th house and it's a trinal house strong. But I would still say really work on Venus and just be a little bit more, say what you want, tell friends. If you can't tell the person you like them, tell your friends to actually accommodate that. But generally speaking, yes, so it will be, and it will be a fantastic career. They can make a really good career for that. So it'll be amazing. And they will do everything for their children, because these people want their children to have a good share of like education, extracurricular activities. They're very dutiful. They do all they can for their kiddies. And then for Venus in the 5th house Aquarius for Libra Ascendant, again, this is again, can delay having children, delay sort of things in romance. And they probably, both these, Capricorn and Aquarius, do well to get married later, where they become more expressive, they're much more confident in their own skin. And generally speaking, these will be like they get their kids involved in big groups. They probably will be in volleyball and basketball and this group, that group, you know, doing things, humanitarian things, go camping. Very, very, very nice. Lots of activities. For Scorpio ascendants, this will be obviously Venus in the 5th house will be like Venus is the ruler of the 7th and the 12th house in the 5th house. So again, a lot of romance. Will have really wonderful, creative, very spiritual partners. They really, you know, it is a really nice placement. You know, they love traveling. You know, 7th house is travel, 12th house is travel. Pisces is the natural 12th house of zodiac. They want to go to very exotic places, lots of nice holidays, romance, and just like holding hands and walking on the beach. Just wonderful. You know, watch the sunset go down. Really, really beautiful. Lots of travel. Just realizing my internet is like getting a little bit weak. I might just go off a bit. So now for Sagittarius ascendant, Venus in the 5th house is 6th house and 5th house, 6th house ruler going into the 5th house. So this will be obviously a service, house of service and work going into the 5th house. So they will probably be in medicine, nursing, that kind of job where they're looking after, you know, children and midwifery things, particularly baronies like that, midwifery jobs, so that kind of thing. And it will be a really like tada kind of Venus, where it can actually just say, you know, and the thing is, because it's a natural head of the zodiac, you know, because Aries is representative of the head, romance is in their head all the time. They think about romantic things. So they could, because it's like planet of expression, they could leave little notes for you and things like that. And actually there is no reason why we can't all become more romantic, knowing the ways of Venus, really. And for Capricorn ascendant, Venus in the 5th house, obviously will be Venus in Taurus. Very family orientated person. Will, you know, family money will be passed on to children because 2nd house natural zodiac. They, you know, they work in environments to do with children. Education is very important. Investments, banking, things like that. So yeah, and it will be a very successful. They'll have successful children. They'll have successful work as well because Yoga Karaka planet. Aquarius ascendant. This will be Venus in the in Gemini. Now Gemini, you know, I know people think that like the sexual sign is Scorpio. But actually, Geminis are much more, they're the most playful of all signs. And they're more likely to have like hit on people, you know, that kind of stuff. So these people are really a bit naughty in love. You know, they're always kind of, particularly in Migashira, they're always looking for the next, you know, next gorgeous person. So they want somebody they can be playful with, very, very sexual, romantic thing, very good at writing because it's the natural 3rd house of the zodiac. So these people will be avid readers, avid writers, singers. They will be great, you know, if they design a website, it'll be amazing, just totally amazing. So yeah, brilliant. That will be a really nice placement, very playful. So they might go through a few relationships before they settle down. And also the Pisces ascendant. Pisces, this will be 3rd house ruler in the 5th house. These people could very, very likely to be in the arts, writing, you know, behind the scenes, researching all these beautiful paintings, sculptures, you know, because they'd be very, very good with their hands. They you know, 3rd house is rules your hands, fingers, so very dexterous. So the writing will be very avid, and they research it a lot in order to get the right information as well. That's it, guys. Enjoy it. I hope you enjoyed this video, and all the very best, and I'll see you next time. Thank you.